To get started with this tutorial, we will need to do some calculations. If you want to cut a full circle, you will need to divide your waist by 6.28. If you want to cut a half circle, you will need to divide by 3.14. How about if you want to cut a 720-degree circle? What exactly would you divide your waist by? So the first thing you will do is to divide your waist by 2 first of all, because in 720 degrees there are two 360 degrees. Okay, just multiply 360 by 2 to give you 720. After that, you divide your result by 6.28, and then you add up your length of the peplum that you're working with. So in this situation, you are going to be cutting two 360-degree circles because you have already divided your waist by 2, so you will need to cut two 360-degree circles. If this is your first time on this channel, you are most welcome. My name is Ayomide and I post sewing tutorials.
These are the materials I am going to be working with. I've got my Ankara fabric right here. This is what I'm using. I also have my interfacing here. It has a little bit of structure, and here it is called the gum stay. It comes by different names at different locations. Also, I have my lining. This is the lining I'm going to be using for this tutorial. The next thing I'll do is to fold my fabric into 4 because I'm going to be cutting two 360-degree circles. So I would fold my fabric into 2 first of all, then I would fold it again into 4. This will enable me to cut a 360-degree circle. I have my fabric folded already into 4. The next thing would be to place down my values. So at this pointed edge here, I'm going to be marking the radius that I'm working with. So I'll just go over and mark that all around. After that is done, I will then proceed to mark the length of my peplum. So in addition to the length, I am marking 1 extra inch for seam allowance. So in total, I am marking 9 inches all around. After that is done, I'll then proceed and cut this out. So I'm going to be cutting this out again on my fabric, and that will make it 2 pieces. Then I'll also cut this out on my lining, 2 separate pieces, and also on my interfacing. After cutting, I went ahead to split just 1 folded edge. Please take note, I only splitted 1 folded edge. Do not split the both of them so you don't split your fabric into 2. Now here is what my peplum looks like after cutting out. You can see that it is a full circle. So the radius, it's a full 360-degree circle. So I'll cut out another one on my fabric. That will make it 2, and then 2 extra pieces for the lining. So guys, I'm done cutting out everything, and I'm going to be illustrating with just 1 circle because it is basically the same thing. I've gone ahead to iron my interfacing on the lining, and what I'll do next is to place right sides of fabric and lining against each other and sew it all around the circumference of this fabric. I'll repeat likewise for the other peplum too. I am done turning the both peplum pieces with the lining, and I also give this a really good press. So this is what my peplum pieces looks like. The next thing I will do is to join the both of them together so it becomes a single piece of fabric. And to do that, I would need to place right sides against each other as always, making sure that my fabric matches up appropriately and also my lining matches up appropriately. Then I'll proceed and sew from one end of the fabric and end my stitch at the lining. So this will make sure that your seam is concealed on the inside of this peplum. I am done sewing as I illustrated, so you can see that it can no longer form the circle because the radius is now more than 360 degrees and the radius looks really wide. Now the next thing would be to fix it on the blouse that I'm working on. So I've already made this blouse out. It's a wrap top. The border is wrap with an overlap in the front. There is no zipper of any sort. To get this fixed, I would need to match up the peplum and the blouse together along the waist area. And to do that, I'll grab my peplum and that seam where we joined the both of them together, I'll match it up to my center back seam. So because I already have a seam at the center back, it was easier for me to match up. If you don't have, all you have to do is to fold it into two and then notch your center back. For the end of the peplum, I had not finished it, so all I have to do is to turn it inside out this way, and then I would do a proper finishing of the end of the peplum. So that was the way I finished this. Now continue my illustration on how I fixed the peplum to the waistline. I just went ahead to match up the peplum to the waistline and realized that I'm going to be having a bit of an excess, which is not a problem because all I did was to pleat the excess into the waistline of the bodice, and that was what I did likewise for the other half of the peplum too. So guys, here is the outcome of the blouse. I really do love how the peplum came out. It's full, it's not overly exaggerated, and it's just really nice. To style this, I grabbed my belt. It's a black belt I made for a dress earlier, and then I'll just use that to tie the blouse in place so that the peplum can stay well. And here's what my blouse is looking like. If you really found this tutorial helpful, make sure you give it a huge thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, kindly click on the subscribe button below. And until my next tutorial guys, make sure you stay blessed and have a wonderful day. Goodbye.